Oh, guys, I just want to be the very first one to be able to tell you we freaking did it. 2021, we finally made it. 2020 is in the rearview mirror. Thank the Lord. And I am just praying that 2021 is about to be one hell of a good year. Let me just be the first to tell you, welcome to this brand new year, and welcome back to the Young Bucks Outdoors podcast. This is going to be the very first episode of the year, episode 3. This week we are sitting down with my good buddy, Mr. Matthew Prater, and he's pretty much just going to give us a nice little introduction into who he is and why he is an outdoorsman. So without further ado, let's just get right on into it. Welcome back, everybody. We're with Matthew today. Matthew, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and maybe tell us some stuff about yourself and what got you into being an outdoorsman?
Well, like he said, I'm Matthew, and I graduated with all these guys from high school, and that's one of the coolest things about us, I think, is the fact that we've all stuck together throughout all these years. But I graduated with my vocal education degree, so unlike the twins, I'm not in the outdoor industry, but I ended up not using that degree at all currently, and I work for another company here in Wichita and love my job. I'm going to do some real estate stuff as well, so that's kind of where I'm at in my life and what's going on there. 2020 has been kind of crazy and kind of life-changing for me all at once, and so it's been one of the best years, honestly, just because of the fact there's been so many huge life changes. But I got into hunting probably when I was 8 or 9 years old. My dad, we have some land out in Kingman, Kansas, just west of Wichita, and my dad would always go hunting, when I was a kid, and finally one day, very end of the season, last day of the season, he took me out, and I remember specifically the night before we went hunting, he went and bought me a little pocket knife, and was like, here you go, here's your first pocket knife for hunting. And I was like, oh yeah, so that if a bird gets up in front of me, I can slice it. True story. I was so excited, and I had a little vest on, and I literally had this pocket knife on one of those retractable keychains. I was gonna pull it out and stab a bird.
You were straight pimping out there, weren't you?
I know.
God dang.
But that was my very first hunting trip, and we went with my dad and my uncle had a dog, and really the only thing that I remember about that was the knife, and well, there's actually a couple things I remember about that trip. The knife for one, but then also the dog got sprayed by skunk, which was great. And then in Kansas, the marker for private property no hunting is to paint purple around the fence posts. Mm-hmm. So we hadn't done that for years around our property, so we decided we should probably go do that. So we took purple paint with us. Well, we ended up getting a quail that day or something like that, and my uncle takes the quail and dips it in the purple paint at the end of it and gives it to me and goes, look, it's a K-State quail. And from then on, I was like, what is going on here? Well, basically, like I said, that was literally the last day of the season, and that whole summer and stuff, I started shooting guns, and the next year I was taking an old 20 gauge, I want to say 870 pump 20 gauge that my family had for years, and that everybody in my family had learned to hunt and shoot on. Was they learned on this 20 gauge. And the thing about it is that when I was 8 or 9 years old, whenever this was happening, is the gun was so tall, the barrel of the gun was so tall that it came up to my nose. I specifically remember, like, literally the first day, I mean, this massive gun is just coming clear up to my nose. And that, like, after that, I don't even remember when I got my first bird, or I think it was a quail, but I don't remember, but I was hooked. Like, every single opening day from then on out was family tradition. Like, we were, I mean, no questions asked, we were going hunting.
Grab the guns, grab the dogs, time to go shoot something.
Exactly. But that's kind of how I got into hunting, just through family stuff and through my dad. And it wasn't until probably out of high school when I started hunting with other buddies, because it was you guys.
Yeah. So beyond hunting, you do some fishing too, right? Or do you do any other big outdoors?
Yeah, I
things?
mean, I'm a very avid fisherman. We're blessed to be able to live on a little sand pit in Wichita, and I always love bass fishing and crappie and catching catfish out of there. I mean, all of the boys come over and try to catch as many as we can, and have some tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
some of our tournaments get pretty interesting very
heated.
fast.
But yeah, I think, I mean, for me, fishing has never been, it's certainly been a passion of mine, but I mean, hunting has always almost taken precedent over fishing, until probably the past couple of years, when I really started. I mean, I didn't ever. There's certain levels of fishing, I think. There's an entry level where you just go cast the same bait in over and over and over and over again, and see if you get lucky, see if the fish are biting.
Yeah.
And then there's a level of fishing that's like actually knowing what you're doing, and actually understanding the weather, and finding the right time of day to fish, and finding the right bait to throw, and where to throw, and you're increasing your odds every step of the way. And I never really got into all of that stuff until a few years ago, when all of you guys were very much in tune with it, and I was like, you know what, I'm kind of done just casting and seeing if I get anything.
I actually want to catch something.
Yeah, I actually want to catch something and increase my odds. So I would say these past couple of years I've really hit the fishing hard, especially at the beginning, during the spawn and of summer and stuff. And I mean, we try to pull out as many bass as we can. We always throw them back, obviously, but I mean, the past few years we actually have taken out some catfish and fried them, and some crappie, and done some stuff with that, and that's been awesome to just kind of be able to go out your back porch and catch some fish and go have a fish fry if we want.
Yeah,
so.
and I know every single one of the other guys freaking hate you for being able to just do that. We're all like, oh, we actually have to go somewhere to fish, and you're just like, I'll just walk out back.
Yeah.
And you guys have your nice new dock that I'm sure is pretty nice to fish off of.
Oh yeah, my dad goes out there, and did I show you the video of the catfish? I sent it. I think I might have sent it in the group chat, but it's a video of dad going out back and throwing all the food off, throwing all the catfish food off the dock, and there's probably like dozens. 50. I mean, dude, it's insane. Like 50 catfish just coming up and eating all the food off the top. But yeah, that's really cool.
That video was just ridiculous. I know every single one of us was probably just sitting there going, "Oh my god, that's just easy dinner right there."
Exactly.
So obviously you kind of said hunting's your big thing. Like, you like fishing, but hunting's like that's your main bread and butter. And pheasant hunting is kind of like your main go-to. Is there other types of hunting that you like doing besides just pheasant, or is pheasant kind of like where you hover?
So, I mean, all hunting, yes. But I have gone deer hunting before. The land that we have out in Kingman, I mean, that's prime deer real estate. And honestly, we should go out there and hunt deer more. It's just a matter of putting in the time and the effort and the money to go out there every single weekend during deer season and try to get something, and that's just not something that I've had the time or wanted to waste the money, wanted to spend the money on, but I would say one of my favorite hunts is duck hunting. We so much of the time, I think we go out and I mean, we try our hardest to get those ducks to commit and stuff, and sometimes it works, but like sometimes we struggle,
Yeah.
And I think it's a matter of being on the X, like being where they are, being where they want to be. But I mean, there's nothing like that's what keeps me going back to duck hunting is the fact of like when you see one of those ducks come in and commit to your spread, and like Keaton or Kendall, because they're the master callers, like and Clayton as well, but when they're calling and stuff and calling them in, it's just
and those birds cupping.
Oh jeez, yeah.
No,
it's awesome.
I agree. Duck is pretty fun. I mean, there's a story that I will share in a later podcast, but my first time duck hunting with these two idiots, Kendall and Keaton, and them giving me some waders that I liked. I walked out in the water and I'm like, whew, I don't know, man. This water is cold. Like, it feels like waders are supposed to keep you dry, right? They're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, I feel pretty wet right now.
It's not happening right now.
One thing led to another. Next thing you know, I found out, nope, I was walking in a puddle in those things.
Yeah.
So, and I'll never forget that, though. But I think we almost limited out on that day, didn't we? I think we nearly, if not, limited on our ducks that day, and that was my first time going. And I was like, shh.
Really?
I was like, shit, this is friggin' cool, dude.
Yeah.
And even though my feet were numb, dude. Even though my feet were numb, I'm like you. The second those birds flip around and they commit to your spread, you're just like, oh, dude, here we go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, to switch gears a little bit, why did you want to be a part of creating this group, Young Bucks Outdoors?
So, like I mentioned before, I think it's so cool that just 5 of us from high school who, really, I mean, we spent time in high school together, and like we were friends, but we never hunted together except for you and the twins. Mm-hmm. But none of us really ever hunted together until we kind of all realized that we have this underlying factor of like, why don't we get up at 3:00 in the morning and go hunting sometime? Like, it might be kind of fun, And so when we all figured that out, like, it was hooked. I was hooked on it, Mm-hmm. And I think that it's just, like I said, it's such a cool factor for us to continue our relationships and stuff like that past high school, even past college, and now we're starting this whole podcast and really trying to get our brand and company going. That's special for me because it really shows you how like the outdoors and how hunting and stuff can bond people completely past something, past a friendship. Yeah. Because how many other friends do you still have from high school? But I think that when we were all just like messing around and trying to come up with a group name, I think it was literally like right when Apple came out with you can change the group name in your like it was like a how you have a group text or whatever, and now you can actually label your group text. Mm-hmm. And we were like, what do we want to call ourselves? And we had like this vote going of like, oh, okay, like Young Bucks Outdoors and just like these other goofy names. And
I think we had some pretty stupid ones.
Oh yeah, I don't even remember who. It might have been Kendall that came up with Young Bucks Outdoors. And
yeah,
I think
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, and I think like all of us saw it and we were like, that's the one. Like, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And so, I mean, it just kind of started from there where we just kind of labeled ourselves as that, as kind of a joke for like, hey, let's, why don't us YBO kids get together and go hunting this weekend or hang out and, fish or have a lake day or anything like that. And it just kind of all started from there, and that's when we realized that our friendship was kind of something deeper than just, being together and texting each other how are you,
Yeah. And I like how you put out like how it can keep us together, even though like I was thinking like how if you look at it besides Kendall and Keaton in terms of degree wise, that's like the most similar in terms of careers at the moment. But every single one of us has completely different degrees,
yeah,
and completely different careers. Like
yeah,
you're
so
working
many
at your
different
company,
interests.
Clayton's
Yeah.
at a bank. I'm jobless.
Yeah.
But no, I mean like I'm hoping to stay in like film or photo or marketing or whatever. Kendall is kind of sitting in real estate / trying to figure out what's next, right? For the most part, yeah. Keaton's full on in like wildlife management and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're completely different in one regard, yet that part keeps
kind of bringing us back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I'm asking all the other guys, what are your hopes overall for the group? Are you wanting to do it just for fun, or are you hoping there's more that comes out of this?
Well, I think all of us would definitely hope that there's more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we do have a really cool story and a really cool brand, and we hope that a lot of people enjoy our content and we can put out as much as we can, And I know that right now we kind of all had a discussion as far as like we're at a standstill with a lot of things right now because of the fact we're all kind of on a budget because we're getting going and we can't just dump money into hunting and film equipment and everything like we would want to, and we can't, always go hunting together and stuff. But I think we're doing a really great job, and has done an awesome job here of like trying to figure out something that we can try to provide for content weekly. And that's awesome for the time being, and we can totally see where it takes us. And obviously I would love to have more videos come out and for us to actually, for me to be behind the camera filming Austin and Kendall and Clayton and all of us, and same for all of us to get that experience of behind the camera as well as in front of the camera. And I'd love to see that, as well as just be able to post some dope pictures online, because those look so cool, and it's so nice to have actual nice hunting photos. But yeah, that's kind of my hope for the group, is that obviously we just continue doing what we're doing and keep our head down and see where it takes us and how many followers we get, and
just kind of keep sharing.
Yeah,
our
ebb and
love for what
flow
we do
with
others.
ebb and flow with all the other people, and see what other people want from us.
Well, Coolio, I think that's most of my questions. I would say probably my final thing would be, do you have anything else you'd like to share about yourself, or about the group, or just in general, anything else you want to share?
Not really. I'm super excited to start this podcast thing. We were talking about it, and podcasts can always, they're super easy to listen to, and they're kind of entertaining in a sense, because I think so many people just continuously listen to music. They want a change of something. But let us know if you're listening. Let us know what you think that we could do better, or something that you want us to do, or you want to see out of us, and we'll try to fulfill those requests and stuff.
As best as we can with everything going on. But all right, well, thank you, Matthew, for joining us for this episode, and we'll get you on the next one.